It's fairly common for security and IT teams to believe that because Intune is deployed, mobile is covered. Intune is a very powerful platform, so it is understandable that teams may feel mobile is already covered once it's deployed. But the important distinction is that Intune is mainly about management, compliance, and enforcement. It helps answer questions like, is a device enrolled? Is a iOS version allowed? Is a passcode enabled? Should this user have access to corporate apps? Those are important questions, but they're not the full security picture. A mobile device can meet compliance requirements and still be exposed to threats like phishing, malicious Wi-Fi interception, suspicious certificates, or new compromise indicators. So misconception is not that Intune is weak. The misconception is thinking that management coverage automatically means that detection coverage, but it doesn't. The biggest danger is a false confidence. If a company believes that a compliant device is automatically a secure device, it may miss active risks that can lead to account compromise, data leakage, or even credentials being stolen. And mobile is especially sensitive because employees often have everything on their phone: email, Slack or Teams, documents, authentication apps, VPN access, and sometimes even passwords stored in notes, screenshots, or photos. So if the phone is compromised, it might not be just a mobile issue. It can become the first step in a wider attack against the company. The simplest way to explain it is this: MAM protects corporate apps and corporate data inside those apps. It is useful for BYOD devices because the company doesn't need to fully manage the employee's personal device. MDM manages the device itself. It gives the company more control over the whole device, especially when the device is corporate owned. So, from a business perspective, MAM is more privacy friendly. It gives the employee more in control of their personal phone. The company can protect corporate apps, but it has few options to control the whole device. MDM gives IT more control. Depending on the platform and the configuration, IT can enforce device settings, install apps, configure VPN, restrict certain functionality, lock or even wipe the device, and apply stronger device level policies. The difference matters a lot for BYD. Employees are usually more comfortable with MAM because it limits what the employee can see or control. But the trade-off is that the company also has less visibility and fewer response options if something goes wrong. MDM gives you control. It can enforce policies and take action. For example, it can wipe a device, lock it, configure settings, or restrict access. But detecting a security incident is a separate capability. For example, before you decide to block access or wipe a device, you need to know why the device is risky. Is there a suspicious network interception? Is there a malicious profile installed? Is there a fresh indicator of compromise? MDM can be very good at enforcement, but the quality of the enforcement decision depends on the quality of the security signal behind it. That is where a dedicated mobile security layer adds value. Its job is to continuously monitor for mobile threat, update detections, research new attack techniques, and provide better risk signals to the enforcement layer. MAM is very useful for BYD devices because it protects corporate apps while respecting employees' privacy. But because it's app-focused, it has natural limits. For example, if a device shows signs of compromise, MAM can block access to manage corporate apps or remove corporate app data. But it usually cannot perform the same device-wide actions as MDM, such as restarting the device, fully managing device settings, or wiping the whole phone. That means more of the remediation process may depend on the user. The IT team may need to contact the employee and guide them through manual steps. During the time, the device may still be risky. This matters more today because mobile devices are now a primary work surface. They're used for email, collaboration, authentication, access approval, document review, and sometimes even admin workflows. So the impact of a mobile compromise is much higher than it was 5 years ago. A device can be fully compliant and still be exposed to real security risks. Compliance means the device meets a defined policy. Security means that device is protected against the latest threats. For example, a device may have a passcode, the latest iOS version, and all required apps installed. It may not be jailbroken, so from a basic compliance perspective, everything looks good. But at the same time, the user could be connected to a hostile Wi-Fi network. There could be suspicious certificate installed. The user could be targeted by smishing. A risky configuration profile could be present. Or the device could show compromise indicators that are not part of the standard compliance check. So the device may look healthy from a management perspective, but still be risky. A strong compliance posture is very important, but it shouldn't be treated as the same thing as a strong security posture. Compliance tells you whether the device follows your rules. Security asks a different question. Is this device safe right now based on the latest threat landscape? Threat actors are constantly changing their techniques. New vulnerabilities, new indicators of compromise, new phishing campaigns, and new mobile attacks patterns appear all the time. So even if compliance is strong, organizations still need a way to continuously evaluate real mobile risk. Otherwise, there is a danger of feeling secure while the threat is already active. That's a false confidence problem. The device may pass policy checks, but the organization may still be missing the security signals that matter. There are several examples. A device may be exposed to suspicious network conditions, like man-in-the-middle attack on an untrusted Wi-Fi network that allows you to read the traffic. As the user may receive smishing messages outside of protected apps. There may be new indicators of compromise that require fast research updates. There may also be exploitation attempts that do not immediately result in obvious jailbreak or root state. So the important point is this: a device can become risky before it becomes formally non-compliant. That's why security signals need to be deeper and more up to date than basic compliance checks. It basically helps to separate two different jobs. MDM and MAM are mainly enforcement and management tools. They help apply policy, control access, protect corporate data, and take action when needed. Mobile security layer focuses on threat detection and risk intelligence. It asks whether the device, network, or user is currently exposed to something suspicious. When you separate those jobs, the architecture becomes clear. Intune can enforce the business decision, for example, block access, remove corporate data, or apply conditional access. But the mobile security layer helps make the decision accurate by providing stronger and more up-to-date risk signals. So it's not Intune versus mobile security. It's Intune plus mobile security. Speed is critical in security. When a new mobile threat appears, the value is not only in detecting it eventually. The value is detecting it quickly enough to reduce exposure. Large enterprise platforms are often optimized for stability, scale, compliance, and broad management workflows. That's very important. But specialized security vendors are usually optimized for threat research velocity. Their job is to move quickly when new techniques, indicators, or attack patterns appear. So the risk of relying only on the measurement platform is that the organization may have strong enforcement, but not enough up-to-date detection intelligence. In a mature architecture, those strengths work together. The security layer detects the risk, Intune receives a signal, and enforces the right actions through existing policies. Uh, iVerify adds a dedicated mobile security layer. The value is specialized detection, mobile threat research, and fast updates when new risks appear. iVerify is focused on identifying mobile threats, understanding compromise indicators, and giving organizations better signals about device risk. Intune is excellent in enforcement. It can apply policy and control access. But to make those decisions well, it needs accurate and up-to-date security signals. That is where iVerify fits. It helps answer, is the device safe? Is it exposed? Is there suspicious behavior? And should Intune react? So architecture becomes stronger because each layer does what is best at. iVerify detects risk, Intune enforces the response. In practice, iVerify detects risk on the device and sends that risk signal into the Microsoft ecosystem through the integration. Then Intune and Conditional Access can use that signal to apply the organization's policies. For example, if iVerify detects a serious mobile threat, Intune may block access to corporate apps like Outlook, Teams, or other managed applications. In MAM environment, the response may be focused on protecting corporate app data and blocking access. In MDM environment, the organization may have more device-level response options depending on policy and ownership models they have. The important part is that the security signals can trigger an existing enforcement workflow. Security teams do not need to choose between iVerify and Intune. They can use iVerify to improve the accuracy of the decisions Intune is already enforced. One example is deeper mobile threat analysis based on device diagnostics, such as disease diagnosis on iOS or bug reports analysis on Android. Intune is not designed as a platform for collecting and analyzing those artifacts for mobile compromise indicators. Another example is smishing. A user may receive a malicious SMS that tries to impersonate a trusted person or service and push them to open a link or share credentials. That risk may happen outside of protected corporate app, so it may not appear in a standard compliance dashboard. Other examples include suspicious network conditions, malicious websites, man-in-the-middle risk, suspicious certificates, risky profiles, or even location-based risk insights for employees traveling to high-risk regions. These are security-specific signals that require dedicated mobile security products. Privacy is very important, especially for BYOD devices. The goal is not to collect everything from the employee's personal device. The goal is to detect security risks while minimizing exposure of personal information. iVerify is designed to focus on security findings, not personal activity. For example, if you talk about network protection, the goal is not to show an employee a full browsing history. The goal is to surface security relevant events, such as non-malicious domains or suspicious network conditions. The same principle applies to diagnostic analysis. Mobile diagnostic can contain sensitive information, so the product avoids exposing personal data to admins and surfaces only the relevant security indicators. That privacy balance is one of the reasons a dedicated mobile security layer is important in BYD. It can provide risk signals without turning a personal device into something that employer fully controls. The case is not to replace Microsoft. The case is to strengthen the Microsoft ecosystem with better mobile threat signals. Many organizations already have Intune, Android ID, Conditional Access, and Microsoft 365 workflows. iVerify perfectly fits into threat architecture as a mobile threat defense layer. It provides additional mobile risk signals that Intune can use for access decisions and remediation workflows. So organizations can keep the existing Microsoft investment, keep the existing policies, and add a stronger mobile threat detection on top of it. That gives them better visibility, more accurate access decisions, and stronger protection for BYD and corporate-owned devices. Strong mobile security means having both management and detection. Getting this wrong creates false confidence. The company may believe mobile is covered because devices are enrolled and compliant, while active risks remain invisible. Getting it right means the organization can make better access decisions, respond faster, protect high-risk users, and support zero trust in a more realistic way. Intune helps enforce the decision. A dedicated mobile security layer helps make the decision accurate. That's the real architecture. Management plus detection, enforcement plus intelligence, compliance plus security.